February 27th, 2025, Des Moines City Council meeting is now called to order. Councilmember Mahoney will now lead us in the pledge. Please stand if you're able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, to all the public joining us tonight, welcome and thank you for attending. For those watching online or on Channel 21, please know that we cannot attend to our phones from the dais. However, if you experience technical problems, please feel free to email cityclerk@desmoineswa.gov. That's cityclerk@desmoineswa.gov. Let the record show that 6 council members are present, and Councilmember Harris is not feeling well, but he's joining us over the phone here. And so technically 7 council members are present. Do we have any correspondence not previously received by the council?
No, Mayor.
Thank you. So now it's time for comments from the public. We ask that you keep your comments respectful, and please recognize that any person speaking or acting in a way that is disruptive will be asked to leave the meeting. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and your city of residence when you come up to the podium. We do have somebody who's signed in to speak tonight. That is Dan Wallstrom. Oh, Dan, did you want to come and speak, or were you signing because you came to the meeting and you thought everybody needed to sign it? Okay, great. Well, hi. Thanks for being here. Okay. Anybody else visit tonight who expected to speak, did not realize that you needed to sign in? Okay, good. I'll hand that back to you. So next up, we have committee chair reports. First up is our Economic Development Committee, which met tonight. I'm going to hand that over to Chair Nutting.
Thank you, Mayor. On our agenda tonight, we received a presentation from a city member about some beautification stuff in downtown, and it was Mason. And he's got some great ideas about some beautification in downtown, and there was a lot of good back and forth between this community member and the committee. And he's going to bring back a plan, basically, on how to enact this beautification that he's proposing. And we look forward to seeing him again in the near future. He's got some pretty big aspirations, and we'll see how it goes. But looking forward to it. A great presentation. And then we received some correspondence about the Woodmont development agreement discussion that we had in one of our other meetings a month or so ago, and about a development, and they're asking for some variances for not going 55 feet but 50 feet, so that's good. Usually they're asking for some height agreeances, and then it's going to come back to the full council as a development agreement, and then go to the hearings examiner. And it looks to be a good project. It's on the Old Roses Diner site, and not to stir up any bad blood, but it was brought up in the committee that it was going to be a recovery center, and now it's going to be a very nice development that the whole community, I think, can get behind. And then we punted the sound code discussion to the next meeting, and so more to come on that. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Also, Deputy Mayor Steinmetz is going to report out about Soundside Alliance, which is a regional partnership that Des Moines is involved in. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
I had the pleasure to attend yesterday my first meeting of the Soundside Alliance. Mayor Buxton was the chair of that, and given her additional duties, she has moved on and asked me if I'd like to take over, and I said, absolutely said yes. It is an organization of elected officials and city staff members, as well as the Port and Highline College So it's very focused just on this immediate area of the South Sound, working together to try to find economic development opportunities and bring things to this area that, essentially all of our cities really do need, and how can we work together and support each other rather than, always be fighting against one another for the next little 7-Eleven that's going to open somewhere. And it's a great group. Since Mayor Buxton stepped down as chair, Peter Kwan, who is a city councilman in SeaTac, was elected the chair last night. And Jovita McConnell, who's the councilwoman from Tukwila, was elected co-chair. We modified the bylaws to make it a chair and a co-chair rather than a chair and a vice chair or a deputy chair. And there were a couple other bylaws changes that were enacted last night. We then talked more broadly about how we can work together and some of the opportunities that were out there. It also works very closely with the Small Business Consortium at Highline College, and it was a good discussion. It was an introduction for me, so but I really appreciated a lot of the things that were being brought to the table. Good group.
Which cities, Deputy Mayor?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot on that one. You're the former chair. I'll bet your memory is better than mine, but I'll give it a shot. Burien, Normandy Park, SeaTac, Tukwila, Des Moines, and I think that's it. Okay. Oh,
Excellent.
better than I thought I was going to do.
No way, yeah, of course you did great. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So next up, we have the city manager's report. She's going to help us understand a project that we're working on. Hand it over to you, Catherine.
Thank you. Mike can come up, but I have a brief announcement before. Someone that we work with all the time is spending her birthday here with us tonight. She could think of nothing else she wanted to do better. So please join me in welcoming Tara a super happy birthday. We have something for her to wear tonight. I know, Bonnie and I said, Tara, no, you must take tonight off. And she said, I must spend my birthday at council. So anyways, we couldn't let it go by and not,
Yes.
We should, you know what?
We need to sing.
Yeah, you sing.
It's a short meeting, let's do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tara. Happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Okay, now Mike's here to talk about a capital project.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, City Manager. So, as you're aware, we bid the Memorial Park flag triangle about 10 days ago now. And so we didn't get any bids. We were very confused by that because we thought the project was a good project. We had 3 primes that were very interested in the project. So we reached out to them. One was a contractor that's actually working, and we're having a very good relationship with right now on the Redondo restroom. And so we talked to him, or talked to their primary bidder, and he said that they tried to get their bid in. They didn't get their electrical bid to 20 minutes before the timeline, and they couldn't get here in time with the traffic. So we had just a late bid on one account. 2 other bidders that were interested in bidding the project and were working on bidding the project decided not to bid based upon the restrictions put on us with 509, where WashDOT didn't want us during rush hours to be closing 509 for that short period of time because they had to bring a crane in to raise and lower the flagpole and to remove the footing of the original flagpole. So we've gone back to WashDOT and we pushed back on that pretty hard. In the last 10 days, we've been working really hard with them to get this done. And they are alleviating that. We got some additional flagging and signage, but basically they can work during the day instead of during the weekend and at night. So we're hoping that those two items will help us to get additional bids. We have taken the project is all ready to release for advertisement tomorrow. It's already been loaded up on the exchange. City clerk has the document here for us. So we're ready to bid the project. It should go out tomorrow for advertisement. We're hoping to open bids on the 11th, a short bid frame, because we know 3 of the contractors were interested before. And then hopefully, if we get a good bid, the 13th would be before you to go forward, so we could still get this done, hopefully before Memorial Day. That's the plan.
Any questions from the council? Councilmember Oxiger.
Yes, can you remind us again, what's the estimated price tag on this?
So as of per date, we've spent about 122. We have lighting fixtures, flagpoles already been ordered. The Des Moines sign for the entryway is already on order. So the long lead items have already been ordered so we can meet our date. Right now, we're looking at all in, the last numbers I saw was about $376,000. That's design, equipment, and construction with contingency and taxes and staff.
Thank you.
Councilmember Harris, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, I guess that's good then. Oh, another question.
I don't have a question. I just, Mike, you being a veteran like myself, I just want to say and appreciate that you've been able, knew how important this is, particularly to the veterans in this community, along with those that are no longer here, to be honored, where we can. And I just appreciate you finding ways and being resourceful. It's always strong work, and I appreciate it.
And Councilmember, I would be remiss, the Des Moines Memorial Group, the historical group, very active in this. We've worked with them to make sure we got all the signage and all the things that they wanted in this. And so I think that the community is really supportive of the history of this location and where it's going. I think it's a great entryway.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So thank you for that. Next up, we have our consent agenda, and with the city clerk, please read the consent agenda.
Item 1, approval of vouchers. Item 2, approval of minutes. Item 3, 2025 Senior Activity Center solar panels, and that concludes the consent agenda, Mayor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Nutting.
I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second?
Second with Councilmember Mahoney. Is there an item that a council member wishes to pull? Councilmember Harris, is there an item that you wish to pull?
No, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So now we raise our hands. All in favor, raise your right hand. It looks like 6-0 here. Councilmember Harris, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. 7-0. All right. Next up is new business. This is the time for the purpose of proposing new business items for discussion on a future agenda that also have not previously been before the council. This is not a time for council action or questions about old business. Council members can submit questions or seek updates on previously discussed business to the city manager at any time. Do any council members have new business that they would like to propose? Councilmember Harris, do you have any new business that you would like to propose?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is, then, we move to the next item, councilmember reports. And so Councilmember Harris, we'll begin with you if you have a report out.
No report tonight, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Mahoney.
Just a really quick one. I just wanted to thank staff, Public Works Department, police, everybody during the windstorm and so forth. Their response was superior as always. You always make a high bar in that regard, and I just, from personally and from the community, a wholehearted thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Grace Matsui.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a long report today, and I know some other folks may cover it, but I wanted to say thank you to staff, including Bonnie Wilkins and City Manager Caffrey, about the hosting of the nonprofit summit that we had last weekend, I believe it was. And I know that I have some colleagues who will probably speak more about it. It was fantastic to see so many leaders in our community come together around some shared interests of really improving the lives of folks who live in Des Moines and making this a generous and great place to live. I also know that today is one of the kickoff events in Destination Des Moines' calendar. They're down at the All-Star tonight for a cornhole tournament, and I'm hoping that some folks here might go down and cheer the teams on after we get out of here. But thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Nutting.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no comments tonight.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Oxiger.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I attended the South King Housing and Homeless Partners meeting last Friday. And one of the things they did was they issued their annual progress report. And what this group does is that it pools the resources of a lot of the South King County cities in order to complete housing projects and to provide, access for low-end affordable housing. And some of the things they did this last year, they had 4 projects, including one here in Des Moines, Victoria Place 2, and somebody's going to have to remind me exactly how many units there were in that project.
Let's see, Victoria Place. Victorian Wood has 15 units.
Okay, well, anyway.
Anyway, I think there's 15 units in that,
15,
in that
okay.
building. Oh, 20, excuse me.
20, okay. In total, for what the group was able to accomplish last year was 406 units of affordable housing. And it's really quite remarkable, and I think it attests to the wisdom of us going, collectively to approach these problems and stuff. Our contribution to the fund was only $34,000. Well, that wouldn't have done a heck of a lot towards those 20 units that we were able to get, but because we did coordinate, we got 20 units. So I think that's a great positive. We also had a report from the state with regard to their funding ability, and given the state budget, there's some concern about what kind of funds are going to be available, and there is a lot of concern about whether or not any funds are going to be available coming out of the federal government. So things are really kind of dicey at this point, trying to figure out how we're going to land on this whole thing. But anyway, they're continuing their work. I think, I believe it's Auburn, Burien, Renton.
Partnership?
And Kent, no, as far as the projects that are going to be undertaken for this next year. So, but interesting group. And then I also wanted to follow Councilmember Grace Matsui's comments on, the volunteer summit and civic groups that met last Saturday. And it was truly inspiring to see people, the amount of, dedication there is on the part of the public to make this a better place to live. And I described it as, the city forms, if you're looking at, our whole entity here as being a being, the city, of course, provides what I call the skeleton. But I think really these groups and their efforts to try and be, inclusive and help their neighbors and everything else, they're the heart and soul of this community. And so I really want to thank all the people that showed up for that, and hopefully we can go forward and we can capitalize on the goodwill, both on city's part and the community's part. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Steinmetz.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. I mean, boy, last week was a really busy week because myself and Mayor Buxton and at one point, Councilmember Harris came down and City Manager Caffrey was there. And we participated in the City Action Days. Oh, and Rebecca. Sorry, Rebecca. I spent 2 days with you and I'm blanking on your name. I apologize, really. Put on by AWC. It is both an informative process of how to, sort of make connections in the state to try to help bring help to your cities, and also sometimes spent direct lobbying. And we met with almost all of our representatives that overlap here in the city of Des Moines. Very good meetings with everybody, very positive, and just really had a good time. Unfortunately, the next day I had to fly out to California for my cousin's celebration of life. She succumbed to breast cancer, and otherwise I would have been here Saturday for the nonprofit summit. I've heard it was a very good event, and I really appreciate that. One thing that I kind of neglected to add to my Southside Alliance report was that we did have a presentation from the Workforce Development Council, which is a multi-jurisdictional group that is, just like it sounds, dedicated to developing the workforce. And one of the things that were pointed out is that there are job centers that are sponsored by the state, and we have one in Seattle and we have one in Auburn. And there really is nothing in this immediate area that overlaps with the sister cities that we're involved in yet. And they were a little surprised to hear put that clearly, in that there's a lot of population here that does need help finding jobs and does need that kind of support. And they suggested that it was very likely that I think it's through Employment Security Department could come and utilize spaces, city spaces that are being underutilized, to have workshops, to have programs to help people find jobs, and essentially job fairs, if the cities were willing to do that. So that's the one thing I wanted to share with everybody. I think that would be a very helpful thing to do as we're trying to get more and more people back into the job force. And then, of course, they are very interested in working with the labor unions and the trades because those are good paying jobs. People doing those jobs can afford to live here in Des Moines, and that's what we want to encourage. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I also appreciated the City Action Days and also the engagement of our representatives with us. Lots of open ears, and appreciating our legislative advocate keeping us updated several times a week on what's going on in Olympia. So that was a great experience. Also, in regard to advocacy, both Councilmember Harris and I testified at the Senate Environment, Energy, and Technology Committee on behalf of Senator Orwell's, I'm calling her airport bill, and participating in the work group leading up to that. The bill did die, but there's another bill coming forward, 1303, that talks about environmental justice, and I think if that ends up flying through, that will do a lot of the same things that this airport bill did. So hoping, continuing to talk, meeting with the senator, and here again, Councilmember Harris is very active in that. I also appreciated the nonprofit summit and everything the staff did to put that together. There's been a regional conversation about, there's a homelessness bill out there, watching that carefully, possibility that it could create some challenges for cities. So all the South County mayors signed on to a letter asking for special consideration with regard to this, and we're watching it carefully to see what happens with this bill. It's 1380, if you want to read about it. I met today, Puget Sound Regional Council Executive Board, and I'll just say of all the subjects that were talked about, there's high interest in promoting the ferries in Washington State, and also high interest in the smaller ferries because the larger ones are, take a long time to get on board, pun intended. And so there's a lot of interest in restoring of the Mosquito fleet and smaller passenger ferries. So we're keeping an eye on that. And I did, because of our legislative agenda does promote this, there were 2 sign-on letters that Puget Sound Regional Council asked for regionally, and one to the state and one to the feds. So I did sign on to those letters because the permission that our legislative agenda gave me to do so. Councilmember Harris, could you put yourself on mute? Thank you. One more item. Sound Cities Association, I'm the president this year. We had a mini retreat. I just want to say with the new leadership and moving forward, renewed vision, I think SCA is a fabulous resource for cities, for this city, many cities. Looking forward to seeing what we can do this year. Okay, that is it for my report. So now what's going to happen is the council is going to dismiss to, I'm going to put this up. The council is going to dismiss to executive session in accordance with RCW 42.30.1101G to discuss the performance of a public employee. There will be no action after this session. The session is expected to last for about 20 minutes and dismiss at, what would that be, 6:47. Okay. I think that's it for now. So we're going to dismiss. Thank you. So how are we going to do Councilmember Harris? So AJ already knows. She's got that? Okay. So Councilmember Harris, we are now dismissing to executive session, and I think AJ has an arrangement for you with that?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
No, we're still going. Yep.